It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Kevin Purdy, the Android expert, joins us. We'll talk about Google, Android, Twitter's getting into the television business, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned. Your cloud update is next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cachefly. Cachefly.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 156, recorded July 25th, 2012. Bang the duck slowly. This Week in Google is brought to you by the new Squarespace. Squarespace introduces a new content management system, making it faster and easier to create a high-quality website or blog. Plus, more than 50 new features, including mobile responsive designs with automatic device scaling. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code TWIG7. And by Ford, featuring the MyFord mobile smartphone app for electric vehicles. The MyFord mobile app makes the electric driving experience fun and efficient. Learn more about Ford electric vehicle technologies at ford.com/technology. And by Carbonite Online Backup, automatic, continuous, unlimited backup for your computer files, only $59 a year. Try it free at carbonite.com and use the offer code TWIG to get 2 bonus months with purchase. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show that covers, I got to be very clear about this. It says Google in the name, but really it covers the cloud. We could cover Facebook, Twitter, whatever's happening in that thing out there, the little puffiness we call the cloud. Starting with Gina Trapani, who is at Etsy this week. Hi, Gina.
I am. Hi. I'm at the Etsy office this week. There's a hack week going on here. So this place is filled with handmade scarves and hardworking coders.
So what do you mean a hack week? What does that mean?
Oh, they invited a bunch of coders in to hack on Etsy features. And
I see.
I think they have a judging and that kind of thing. So the office is pretty busy and open today. It's pretty cool. Every single desk here is handmade. I mean, these people, they live it.
The desks are handmade?
Yes.
Not sure that's a good idea. I don't know why, but I think handmade is wobbly. It sounds wobbly. That's all. I'm just saying.
It's unique.
Also here with us, as always, Jeff Jarvis, the City Professor of Journalism at the City University of New York. Hello, Jeff.
Hello. So Gina, my office is in the Shmata district, and there's a storefront I just saw that has a fancy, amazing, modern knitting machine in it, and they kind of talk about hacking that.
Oh yeah, because it uses
exactly.
computer.
So it's like a 3D printer, right?
Yeah.
So I
you
want
need an API.
Yeah, hack some knitting machines.
That's neat. Also here, Kevin Purdy, author of The Complete Guide to Android. Kevin, good to see you.
The Complete Android Guide. Good to see you as well.
Okay, CompleteAndroidGuide.com.
Sorry.
Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Let's get it right.
These titles.
Actually, Gina, when you talk about a hacker week or a hack week, it reminded me of that letter that Mark Zuckerberg wrote to investors when they were, doing the road trip for the IPO, in which he said, "We're hackers. We're not. We want to be more hackery. We not." The hacker way is the way to do it, and the thing that kills businesses is when they get entrenched and get middle management to manage hackers, and that's antithetical to the hacker way. I thought that was fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was such a great point. I was just talking to the CEO here at Etsy, and they were saying that they deploy code several times a day. And on your first day at work at Etsy, you deploy code. Wow. And it's very much that rapid iteration, break things and fix them later. That whole kind of Zuckerberg philosophy. Yeah, that letter is interesting because it talks about, the open web and the hacker way. And Facebook is not. I mean, it's an incredible product, right? But it's not very open. There was a piece in Wired about this, about whether or not Facebook is a monopoly and if they've are closed the web more. But yeah, Facebook. That letter also was really just interesting that it was piled up in all the financial statements during their IPO tour. As a weird document amongst the rest.
He writes, hackers try to build the best services over the long term by quickly releasing and learning from smaller iterations rather than trying to get everything right all at once. Done is better than perfect. We have the words painted on our walls. Done is better than perfect. That was kind of like Steve Jobs, who said, great artists ship.
Yes.
It's meaningless if you make something perfect that you never ship. He also says to encourage this approach, every few months we have a hackathon, which is what's going on at Etsy right now, where everyone builds prototypes for new ideas they have. In fact, they had a all-night hackathon the night of the IPO. To make sure all our engineers share this approach, require all new engineers, even managers whose primary job will not be to write code, to go through a program called Boot Camp, where they learn our code base, our tools, and our approach. And it really is almost anti-middle management. It's almost pro, like the kind of subversives.
Platform.
Yeah,
and it's use your API, build on your own API. Is the other thing that we keep on hearing. But, let me ask you both, all of you. In the news business, it's hot to have hacks and hackers hackathons because journalists, of course, are called hacks. But they don't often put out anything that's terribly useful. And then people get together and say, "Oh, I touched a coder this weekend and we made something," and then nothing comes out of it. Does a hackathon need to be in a context like a company?
You mean
there's a hackers group out in Rochester that actually took the local election website, which was totally, non-verified, non-searchable and stackable data, and turned it into an API. And so on election night, instead of having to, hit refresh and load scripts that automatically refresh the page, they could actually pull numbers as they appear on the website without having to get a government grant or anything.
And did that code get implemented? Did it get put in the site?
Yeah. They're using it every year, I'm pretty sure. Hacks Hackers Rochester. And but that's a small bore target. It's not like they're reinventing some part of journalism. It's just there's a problem with something we want to write. Let's fix it.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say this because I'm here and I love Etsy and I think it's great they're doing Hack Week. But I've always been a little skeptical about hack days and startup weekends and hack weeks because it's this idea that you're going to go in and you're going to launch a company or create a product. And they're really just, you don't hear about many products that were born out of hack days. It's not unheard of.
But features, you often hear features that are born out of hacking, don't you?
Right. You often hear that, engineers at a company during their, the hack weekend when they're, have freedom to do what they want and take up a kind of a passion project, ship a feature.
Right.
But I think the purpose of these things is more about social coding, meaning like kind of being in a room with a bunch of other people who are wrangling with the same API and getting questions, answers, and just getting used to interacting with the tools. And so maybe, a product doesn't launch, but the company comes out with a bunch of developers who now have very intimate knowledge of their API, and that gets stored in the back of their heads. And any things that they go forward and thinking about in terms of apps they want to build or things that they can do, they then have that knowledge. Getting coders in a room to all look at the documentation together and hack together is very, very powerful, rather than having a bunch of coders just kind of alone in their basements, reading the documentation.
I think that might be a lot of the point of that, right? Is the social aspect of it.
Absolutely.
I also find it interesting that Etsy sees itself very clearly as a technology company, not as an auction site. Mm-hmm. Or whatever it is, not auction.
A craft platform.
But I mean, obviously they're focused on crafts. I mean, you were saying you're sitting in a room where even the ducts are wrapped in knitted products.
Knitted scarves, yeah.
So they're very aware of that, but it's interesting. They really see we have that. I'm thinking about that in terms of TWiT because we can't decide, are we a media company? Well, we are a media company. We are, in many ways, a traditional media company, except that we are delivered, just as Etsy is, in many ways, a traditional e-commerce site or a commerce site.
But we're hearing that debate all over. So it was Marissa Mayer and Yahoo. Is it a technology company? Is it a media company? Then Twitter, Dick Costolo was answering that question just last week. Now I'm starting to think it's meaningless because the problem is that what's a media company? It's something new. It's something different.
No, I guess the question is, our product is content, yes? But unfortunately, in this modern age, we have to pay attention to delivery because we're inventing in some way. If you want to do a television or radio station, it's such a well-known thing. You have an engineer, you have a staff, but they know what to do. It's kind of a well-known. But here we're kind of making up how it's so early in the technology phase. We spend a lot of time with technology still.
I would say your product is not content.
What is it?
Content is a tool. That your product, your value, put it this way, your value is the relationships you have.
Well, I'd agree with that, but we do. But the
right?
sugar is
advertising.
The sugar is
and
content.
So the content is a tool that comes in to do that. But it's the relationship you have with people that really matters, and I think it's.
But
really
that's true of
Leo.
any business. Every business, it's about your relationship with the
problem.
customers, not the product.
But that's just the problem in media companies. I spoke to 50 CEOs, international CEOs from a big magazine company on Monday, and I gave their same spiel. And then somebody could say, "Oh, it's just another Jarvis tweet," but I mean it. Content is a tool that goes to the relationship, and Facebook and Google and you and others and Etsy are built on finding and extracting the value out of those relationships. Whereas media companies think their entire value is in the content, and that's why they want to sell their content and think they're done with the business. Whereas
You're right. I have no desire
before,
to sell our content. People, every once in a while. In fact, I had a conversation with a Hollywood producer on Monday saying, G4 would buy your content if we could take it and we could massage it. And I said, under no circumstances are you to pitch G4 anything. But I don't see ourselves as a content company. He said, you got all this great content, and you're right. That I couldn't figure out why that didn't feel right. Because
your relationship,
I don't want somebody to buy the content like apples and resell it. No. We're not about apples. We're about our relationship with our audience.
Truly have a community here.
Oh, you're right.
And that's why you've said before that you don't want more than 100,000 people or thereabouts. I don't know what Twig and Twit are, but you want it to be focused in a community and workable.
Well, we don't. I won't put a limit on the numbers, but we don't focus on the numbers.
Right. You don't make it. You don't say that the goal is millions, because when you do, that's the whole problem with page views in media. It corrupted the business all across.
That's interesting.
Media and made that's more. And what I say to media companies now is you should make your new metric. Who do we know? What do we know about them in ways that we can give them value back because of that?
Well, then get ready for this, because Twitter and Hollywood are working on an in-stream video series. This is from adweek.com. Forget the debate over whether Twitter wants to get in the media business. Twitter wants to be a media player. The San Francisco company, along with multiple Hollywood producers and network execs, are in serious talks about the possibility of launching, I don't even understand how this would work, several original video series via Twitter. Talk about a company that's confused about their business. What the hell does that mean? One project in particular could debut this year, potentially as early as in the fall. They've been pitching this to a select group of advertisers, a video series that would live on Twitter and enable users to participate in real time in some fashion. The series has been described by sources as similar to MTV reality shows The Real World and The Hills. In fact, one of the producers behind The Hills is said to be behind the project. The show could live on a standalone Twitter page, similar to the events page Twitter launched with NASCAR in June. Or maybe the series would be distributed within tweets.
Because tweets become rich, so you can watch the little segment. They hired a friend of mine named Fred Graver. Fred, I bow to him because he was a writer on both Letterman and Cheers. And he started Best Week Ever for VH1. And
Isn't this somebody saying, I know how to do this, so let's shoehorn my style of content into your 140-character blog, mini blog?
The meeting you had with Hollywood. Yeah, I think it could be. Unless you rethink. Why should Twitter create that? Why shouldn't – if Twitter's – well, of course, is Twitter a platform?
Dick Costolo told the Wall Street Journal this week, Twitter is, right germane to this conversation, a technology company in the media business.
But then it's trying to make media. The next story in the rundown is Twitter did a deal with SiriusXM to make a show about politics based on tweets. Talk about sound bites. It's in this schizo world of if it's. I think it's leaving the idea of being a platform. That's why it's changed its relationship with the developers. That's why it's trying to own more things. It's trying to own.
They
more
think they're
data.
a content company.
Yeah.
Are they? Is this smart? Is this right? Is this a last-ditch effort to monetize, or a clever move, a visionary move, understanding better than anyone what their business is?
I underestimate Twitter at my peril.
I mean, I don't think it's a last-ditch effort. I think it's a very, I think it's a strategic decision, and it remains to be seen whether or not it'll work out. I mean, clearly Twitter cares about right now making tweets more than just 140 characters, right? The embeddable rich media, they want eyeballs on the site where they can show you ads, where they can show you promoted tweets, where they can show you promoted accounts. That's where they get paid. And they want tweets to be richer than just 140 characters, which, I mean, is a little sad to me because, you know, the kind of thing I love about Twitter is that it's, you know, 140 characters of text, and that's its roots. But, you know,
iambic pentameter, yeah.
You don't start a company. Look, this is, to me, this is stupidity in the nth degree. You started a company doing a microblog, 140 characters. You built it up for people like me and Gina who loved that idea, and Jeff. And then you say, oh, no, that new idea. We're a media content company. We're going to distribute media. That's stupid.
Well, they would say that they're a media platform, right? They're trying to be Facebook in a way. They want to create a platform where, you know, you can plug content into their web interface seamlessly to bring more people to the website.
But doesn't it? I mean, Facebook, you could do that. Why? But Twitter seems like that's a stretch.
To me, it's not the 140 character limit. It's the fact that my relationship with Twitter is such that I know that Twitter is the thing I go to when I have something to say or when I want to see what's going on.
Right.
And I don't think a politics series or a Shudder Hills-like show. That kind of breaks everything I know about Twitter. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm from the 1920s. I won't think of Twitter that way.
But that's the point. You cannot just decide, oh, hey, remember we were the one thing, now we're something else.
But every other media uses Twitter as a place to have conversations. I mean, every TV show, primetime TV shows have hashtags, you know, on the bottom, bottom of the screen, right? So people are watching TV online and talking about it on Twitter. Twitter wants a piece of that. They want to run their own. They want people to have common experiences and talk about them on Twitter, and they want them to get that media to begin with from Twitter.
Stupid.
Stupid. I think that I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't feel like it's a last-ditch effort at revenue. I think this is a very strategic decision for them. They've decided to be more than just a communications platform, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm personally not I'm not on fire about the idea of watching a reality show on Twitter, but I am interested to see how they do it because, you know, Twitter's got some pretty great product folks there.
Well, and by the way, a pivot is a well-accepted thing in this industry, and it works often for many companies, but you only pivot when you have failed at the first thing. And Twitter has clearly not failed at the first thing.
No, I agree.
So what they're showing to me is ADD. They're showing to me an inability to focus. Oh, let's do that.
Well, or it's not. Pivot isn't just failure, Leo. I think pivot is also building on success. Two examples, right? One is Amazon. Starts as bookstore, becomes general retailer, becomes content distributor, becomes
right. That's not a pivot. That's expanding. That's building.
It's an enhancement.
It's enhancing.
Same with Google. So is Google pivoting by starting as a search company, becoming an ad company, becoming a services company, becoming a mobile company? Is that a pivot or is that a?
No, that's a good question. That's a judgment call on that one.
So if you build on Twitter, I think Twitter, you know, if Twitter's users started just on their own using Twitter in neat ways to start to distribute video in ways we never thought of, then I'd probably say cool.
That's
organic. The problem you're having here is that instead Twitter says, let's force this through the sieve and let's turn ourselves and let's demonstrate how we are a TV company.
Right.
So you look at the difference in YouTube.
They've wanted to do this before, remember? I mean, this is not the first time.
Yeah. And the other problem is, and this is where they really realize that they went off the mark, but I think they were on the mark and they're wrong about their decision that was off the mark, is that by having developers create clients, that's what made Twitter explode. Right. That's how I experienced Twitter. Right. But I can't experience the tweets the way Twitter wants me to experience them now because they're out of control. That's what an API does to you. You lose control. That's exactly the point. And either you build the company around losing control as a benefit, which I think is the internet way to do it, or you build the company around holding on to control. But when you do that, you limit yourself. And I think that that's the danger that Twitter is in right now. It built as being an API and giving control to developers and others. And now to try to do these new things, it's got to bring back control. And as my friend long ago, I haven't talked to her in ages, friend, but used to know, no, I can't remember her name. Well, as a friend of mine said to her famous celebrity lesbian mate, who then tried to recant this. She said, "You can't go back in the closet."
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. And so I think that's in essence what Twitter is trying to do, is they're trying to go back into the closet of becoming a controlling centralized media company. But again, I've been wrong about them before, and I'm not condemning it. I'm just always befuddled by them.
But this doesn't feel like too much of a pivot to me. I think because I went to the Twitter dev conference, I think it was called Chirp, like in 2010, and they announced this thing that never came to fruition called Twitter annotations. Do you guys remember this?
Yeah, and I remember how excited we all were about it.
Yeah, we were pretty excited. It was a way to attach any random metadata, arbitrary metadata to any tweet to add to the payload. And the idea was that your app could attach data to tweets, store it in Twitter's data store, and render it in your app. And it was really exciting to me because I was like, wow, the possibilities seem endless. You could attach a tweet to anything, and they never shipped it. I never heard anything about it after that. But this feels like an iteration of that with just a lot more control, right? So we're gonna embed this media content into tweets, and we're gonna put it out through Twitter and have our users interact around it. So I'm waiting to pass judgment. I'm interested to see what the API is going to look like. Once they start launching this embedded media, do developers have access to that metadata? Can they render it in their apps? Can they add to it? Is it just partners that can do this, or can anyone do this? I'll be interested to see.
You compare this to, we have some stuff this week from YouTube, if I may, Leo.
Yeah.
And I think ties in directly. So what YouTube is doing at the same time, they had two big announcements, I think big announcements today. The lesser of the two is that they've opened a creative studio for their people in London, which is very much like Etsy. When they want people to make stuff, help them make it. So Etsy's creating, workspaces and creative spaces. And the second thing they're doing, they did a big deal with Creative Commons to bring forward just tons of video for remixing. And so then you're truly acting like a platform in both cases. You're saying, we're here to help you create. We're a distributor. We're going to get it around for you. You go make the cool stuff. And we'll invest in it, and we'll create stuff to help you do it. But we don't create, you create.
I just feel like
otherwise, in a channel conflict, I think.
I think YouTube should announce a 140-character microblogging site, and then everything would all be right with the world. I don't know. Why do I want to put somebody in a box? Let Twitter do whatever it wants to do. But it's interesting that companies are fleeing the idea of being media companies.
Exactly. It's a rotten business in that sense. Though that was when this discussion was on Twitter today. People without video, no reality show. People were talking, and I was saying the response back was, "But isn't everybody a media company? Isn't that what we say?" And yeah, thus nobody's a media company because everybody is.
Right. There's no distinction.
Right.
We'll do it now.
I mean, if you think about how Google Plus, if you think about how Google Plus uses Hangouts, you could do a show in Google Plus. It's got embedded
people
video.
already doing it.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We're talking. Kevin Purdy is here. CompleteAndroidGuide.com. Should say everything you need in 3 words. CompleteAndroidGuide.com.
It's the shazazzle.
Etsy lady is here. She's not with Etsy, but she's handmade. Miss Gina Trapani.
I'm wearing something from Etsy today. So
oh, that's cute. Let me see. What is that?
It's the serotonin molecule.
Wow, that's cool. Now, I know I see people with caffeine molecule T-shirts, but a serotonin molecule necklace. Now, that is cool. What does that mean? If you look at that, do you go into ecstasy?
Yeah, I'm just happy all the time. Where do you think the smile comes from?
That is a neat necklace. I like that.
The molecular structure. Thank you.
You know who was here, who was a block away yesterday? Chris Colfer.
What?
I go out the door.
My boyfriend.
I know. I go out the door, and there are like hundreds of teenage girls.
Like screaming for the gay kid?
Yeah. And with I love you, Chris. I want to hold your hand and blah blah. And so there's a bookstore across the street. The last bookstore in the United States of America is across the street, and they're having. We're in Petaluma. It's a town of 55,000 people. Book signing. Chris has a new book, I guess.
Wow!
And he's doing a book. I know he's doing a book signing, and the line literally goes down, around the block, around that block, around that block. I mean, it went on for hours.
Teenage girls.
And there's like two guys in the entire line.
Right.
And their dads embarrassed. And the rest is preteen girls. You know why? Because he's not threatening. He's like the perfect boyfriend. He won't lay a hand on you. And he's cute. And he can sing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's a children's book.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I think you might have done that. Yeah.
Anyway, it was thick. It's like it might be a young adult. It's not like a picture book. It's a retelling of children's stories. And Chris Coulter, for those who don't know, and I don't know how you could not know if you listen to this show, he's the founder of Chipotle. Is that right?
He's a Gutenberg scholar, damn it.
He's a Gutenberg scholar, founder of Chipotle, and the best singer on Glee.
Glee.
All right. Look at she's gleeking right now. As we speak. She gleek. This show brought to you today. It's called The Land Stories Wishing Spell. Is that what it's called? No, wait a minute. Let me. The chat room has given me a link to the Amazon. It has a nice cover. The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell. That's kind of neat. Do you think he really wrote it, or they're capitalizing on his fame? Looks kind of neat.
Maybe both.
I don't know.
A children's book, huh? I wouldn't have. I would have assumed it would be a YA novel, but yeah, ages 8 and up.
Let me read a little bit from the prologue. The dungeon was a miserable place. Light was scarce and flickered from the torches bolted to the stone walls. Foul-smelling water dripped inside from the moat circling the palace above. The Chris Coulter fan club's going crazy. The large rats chased each other across the floor, searching for food. This was no place for a queen. How many times have I heard that? Okay.
So it's kind of sci-fi fantasy. He's a little bit of a geek.
Snow White. Snow White's in it.
He's a little bit of a geek?
Okay, he's a geek.
King geek. He's Prince geek.
And then there's a 6th grade class. So yeah, it's not young adult. It's 8 and up. That's about right.
8 and up.
Yeah. That's good for him. I'm sure he wrote this. Why wouldn't he? You know what, Chris? You need a Squarespace site to go on. Squarespace has a big announcement, by the way. Brand new service. They're calling it the new Squarespace. You might have heard me talk about it as version 6. Let's just talk about the new Squarespace. Oh, my golly gosh. If you tried Squarespace before, you got to try it now. Completely new set of code. Completely new. 50-plus new or improved features. The pricing the same, but boy, you get a whole lot more. These beautiful template designs are just, and they're, by the way, the latest thing, responsive design. So when you drag an image in to your Squarespace gallery, it automatically sizes the image into, I don't know, half a dozen different sizes so that your site looks great on any device. So, and it's automatic. So if you're on a big screen, you'll get the big picture. If you're on a mobile device like an iPhone, you get the little picture. They call this in the world of the internet responsive design, and it works so beautifully from PC to tablet to smartphone. This incredible layout engine, you just slide and push and pull, and you make it exactly yours without any code, without any JavaScript or CSS. Although if you know JavaScript and CSS, it couldn't be easier. They will import all your existing content too, saving all the SEO, all the links, all the images, everything. Even the comments are preserved. And, of course, if you have a social media account, it's very easy to incorporate your Flickr, your Foursquare, your LinkedIn, your Twitter into this, and your Google Maps. It is so nice what they've done. It's interesting. This is not a content company. This is a content-enabling company, a company that uses great technology to do hosting, plus the best software in the world to give you the best website you've ever seen. And it's yours free for 2 weeks when you visit squarespace.com. Just click the Try It Free link. You don't need a credit card. Actually, it says Get Started now. Click the Get Started link. You don't need a credit card. In fact, they're so anxious to get you to try it. When you click the Get Started now, it says, well, choose a template first. Like you don't even give them any information at first. This is just to get you to wet your whistle, so to speak. Look at that. There's a kind of a Pinteresty template called Flatiron. So you pick your template. This is all before you give it a site name. Maybe, what did I do? And then you don't even need a credit card. You got 2 weeks free to try it, to play with it, to use all the features, get an idea of what Squarespace could do for you. If you decide to buy, you're going to love this part. Squarespace has not changed the pricing. It's still very affordable. Now, I'm going to recommend an annual plan. I'll tell you why in just a second. Let me give you the pricing first. So it's $8 a month for the basic, the standard. $16 a month for unlimited. And boy, when I say unlimited, $16 a month and you get unlimited bandwidth, unlimited pages, galleries, and blogs, unlimited storage, unlimited contributors. So you can do a blog, with a dozen contributors as well. Really get in the publishing business. The best hosting, the best software, $16 a month for unlimited everything. And when you use the offer code TWIG7, you get 10% off your first purchase. So make that first purchase a big one. That way you get more savings. Really incredible. Squarespace.com. Go there, give it a shot, try it, play with it. You get to see everything. And then if it makes sense to you, and I know it will, use the offer code TWIG7 when you sign up, and you'll save 10%. Squarespace. The new Squarespace is here. We've been waiting for it. We've been so excited. I've been playing with it for 6 months, and I can vouch for it. It's just fantastic. Squarespace.com. Give it a try today. Gina Trapani's here. Kevin Purdy is here. Jeff Jarvis is here. We're talking Twitter, Google. We have a little bit of Facebook, the cloud. Sirius XM has a show based on Twitter. How about that?
They're gonna.
It's called.
It's hard for me to imagine.
It's called Politics Powered by Twitter, a new radio format diving into politics from every angle, driven by Twitter.
I used to be the blog guy, unpaid, on MSNBC's Coast to Coast with Monica Crowley and Ron Reagan. And I was on regularly all the time. And, they do this news and they turn and say, well, Jeff, what's the blog world saying about this?
Oh, God.
And I come back, well, here, Ron, are 3 disjointed quotes out of context that mean absolutely nothing in isolation, but we're going to act hip like we have the blog world. And that's the problem with all of this. It's the same stuff we see on TV news when they say, well, what's Twitter saying? Well, Twitter is saying this ridiculous thing that makes no sense outside the context of 140 characters.
I wonder, what this sounds like to me is they have announcers reading tweets, but that can't be.
I'm sure they're discussing them too or something, but how much? So you read a tweet, you say, well, this is, Romney's trending today. Yes, he is. Is he trending as much as he was yesterday? I don't know. Let's check. Yeah.
It's a brand new radio format that reports to listeners exclusively what politics are being talked about on Twitter, including trends and tweets from politics, journalists, celebrities who have active voices on the key political issues, electoral races, and breaking news. Specifically designed as a daily digest for serious listeners driving home from work. Politics powered by Twitter.
Wait, stop right there. How do you digest Twitter? That's like digesting the conversation.
It's pre-chewed. It's pre-chewed Charlie's. It's already digested.
Yeah. Trying hard. I
mean, it is interesting how often you see, like, on local news or news stories just being a series of tweets. I mean, the Colorado shooting.
Yeah, that's right.
My local news was just reading tweets, and what frustrated me is that there was one tweet in particular that they kept screenshotting, the one from Jessica Redfield saying, the movie doesn't start for 20 minutes. She had replied to a friend who said, well, why are you tweeting? Why aren't you at the movie? But obviously, like, the news people didn't know how Twitter worked and didn't acknowledge that she was actually replying.
She keeps tweeting this. The
movie doesn't start for 20 minutes. But yeah, I don't know if I can handle a whole show. Is it just going to be kind of the best sound bites from Twitter?
I don't know. It's an hour long.
Imagine the poor schmucks doing it. That's why I just
it's like people like you, Jeff, who got roped into it, and they know better.
They could get Gilbert Gottfried to read them all.
And then on Twitter, somebody writes, Mitt Romney! Oh, God. Oh, God. You want to see a Nexus 7 commercial? Do they need to advertise? Yes. They've already sold out. They can't make any more.
I'm so happy I have mine. I have not used my iPad in a week.
I guess they have the 8 gig version. And frankly, I think that's fine if you really want. That's a $200 version, but they've sold out of the 16 gig, the 250. Here's the
obviously did not predict the demand, which also probably tells me the 16 is too small itself. But
I don't think so. I think people assume that, but it's such a cloud device. I don't find that an issue. Here you go.
I think in Google. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Kevin.
No, just in Google's mind, I feel like it is the way that they pitched it at I/O and the way that they've pitched it in general. To them, it is a great way to get stuff from the Play Store. But most people are looking at it as like, a great tablet to throw their music and their own movies on and their own stuff on. And so, of course, they're going for the 16 gig because it's a ridiculously nearly subsidized price for a 16 gig tablet. And
I bought the 16. But even let me just check and see. I'm curious how much of it I've used. I mean, I don't think I've got 53 apps on here. I don't think and I don't have a whole lot.
You haven't taken a plane ride yet. I think the key to this is a plane ride.
Yeah.
I got the smaller iPad and I ran out of space on that real fast.
I have used, I have 11 gigs available. So
Gina, did you put media on yours for your plane flight?
I downloaded a couple of Kindle books, but I didn't download.
Take up no space.
Classy.
And I'm using Google Music, so I guess you'd want to cache a playlist or two, right?
Yeah, and doesn't Google Music do smart caching? Like it tries to, if you start to stream a playlist, it caches ahead.
Right.
So that's nice.
Tries to grab the rest of it. I watched 4 episodes of The Walking Dead on a plane ride with the 8 gig. There was space left over.
Yeah. I mean, you can't put your entire video collection on it. But you can judiciously load it up with enough to satisfy you. I mean, I've got 200K of audio, 257 megabytes of pictures and videos, 767 megabytes of apps, total space 13.24 gigs, available 11.62 gigs. I got a ton of space left. And I've been using it a lot. I love this thing.
I'm just thrilled that Google finally has a hit on its hands. And I've always felt like the Nexus was the best Android experience. And I wish that Google would market the Nexus as the Google device.
Yes.
They don't do it. I'm not sure why they don't do it. I don't know if they don't want to scare off everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but the Nexus is a great experience. I love it. I love that thing. I haven't been able to take my hands off it too. I've had it with me. In fact, if it weren't for the show, I thought about maybe trying to do the show on the Nexus, and then I thought maybe I'll take the laptop. But the rest of the week, I'm just traveling with the Nexus and a keyboard.
Well, here's the ad. Not that they need one. But what I think is really most telling is people like M.G. Siegler, people who are normally, Andy Anaka, who are normally iPad fanatics and say, oh, there's nothing close, are all almost to a man saying, and a woman, saying, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
And you can take it camping.
Right here. Great one.
Wait a minute. Hold on there. Do they have Wi-Fi at the campsite?
Keep wait. Keep going, Leo.
Okay.
Going, Leo.
Oh, buddy.
The Petit Prince. Daddy, it's raining. Let's play chess. Great father-son moment. I know, they're in the backyard. It's obvious.
Spoiler.
Yay.
The point being that without 3G, you can't leave the backyard.
Right.
Well, what you have to do is tether to your Galaxy Nexus. That's the trick.
That's what I
do. That's the first time I've ever seen a major use of the flashlight capabilities of devices. Every geek does it. Like, puts the
we all know
app
it
on their phone or their
It's
app,
the dirty little secret.
That's the first time I've ever seen it in public. It's awesome.
The dirty little secret. Actually, there's another thing us old farts do. You won't know about, Kevin, for another 20 years. You can also, and you can't do it with this, but with a camera on the back, you can read menus. I see people doing that all the time. And if you go to the early bird special, you'll see people going like this. What is that? And what they do is they take a picture of it and they magnify it on their phone so they can read. It's better than readers. Wait a minute. Update packet downloaded Wait a minute. Samsung, what's going on? I've got an update on my Samsung Galaxy 3. Could it be device will be rebooted? Wouldn't it be nice if Jelly Bean just showed up?
Is it Jelly Bean?
No, of course
I bet.
not. They do this all the time.
Well, speaking of things just showing up, I just received an email from Sergey Brin, not personally, a mass email. You should have gotten this, Kevin. Welcome, Glass Explorers.
Ooh, I should have gotten it too because I bought a pair of glasses.
Oh, yeah, you got one too. Yeah.
I'm number 747. What's your number?
I don't even know my number. I was so late.
Excuse me, but you should. That's how we keep track.
No, I know. Just promising lots of fun glass stuff. A little picture that he took on his road trip to Montana. And I guess they're going to set up a private Glass Explorer edition Google Plus Circle, where they're going to post updates and things.
Fun. Yay.
Yeah, and actually,
hey, Jason, is our glasses, are they attached to your email? Probably, huh? Yes. So look for an email from Google inviting you to join a fabulous new group.
Okay.
For stuff that you can't really use because you won't have the glasses for another year. So wait a minute. Apparently, this update, warning, OT update for the Galaxy S3 disables local search. This is some lawsuit crap?
Yep.
Oh.
Nice job.
I
can see the little Android gut spinning. You're doing it.
Can you stop the update?
Yeah, at my peril.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you don't want to stop
This is
that
the
now.
new update, which I like. They have a little tesseract in the Android's tummy, and it rotates, as you say, while it's updating. Oh, well, whatever it is, I've done it now.
So that's the lawsuit that, for those who don't know, it's the lawsuit stemming from Siri and local search and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
Yeah. It does.
So you mean what happened there is Apple sued, and so as a result, they're just taking – this is the international version, by the way, so that's why I'm getting this. Mm-hmm. If you have a Galaxy S3 from Verizon or Sprint, maybe you – I don't know why you won't, but you won't. But so the latest OTA update does away with the universal search function, which browses your phone's contacts and apps for results. Apple says, no, you can't do that. Oh, this is so stupid. 27 megabytes. Apple just reached into my phone and squeezed my testicles. Or some. See, I told you I would say the wrong thing today. I told you. That's me all over.
This is where I say make my sexist comment.
It feels like that, though. It feels like they got me, and they're slowly tightening. Sons of beaches. Somebody said Samsung did it, not Apple. I know Samsung did it because of Apple. Samsung did it. Yeah, Apple did it by proxy. All right, moving on. That was really depressing what just happened. That should not be allowed to happen. I guess I could have turned it down if I knew what I was doing. Oh, wait a minute. Waskell says, no, Samsung did it because they stole Apple's technology. And it was they had to do that because they were bad people.
The dialogue should sort of said, would you like to downgrade your phone?
Yeah. Would you like the special Steve Jobs edition? Android is upgrading.
Unless you download that, you can't get Jelly Bean in the future and so on.
No, you have to do it. No, you have to do it. I understand. And this won't happen again. This is the European unlocked version. That's why it happened to me and not you. I had to be an early adopter and all that. The PC World magazine already, Google Glass is not even like it's not even a demo, and already PC World has an article: Google Glass horror stories from your privacy-free future.
Huh?
Obvious crap.
Mark Sullivan writing in PC World: call me paranoid, but I think Google Glass is scary. Well, I don't know. Is it scary? Are you scared?
So are airplanes. Airplanes are very scary. Theory.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Google has immense power.
It's just all that standard claptrap stuff.
A marketer's dream, a consumer's nightmare.
You know, the device itself is more conservative than most people realize, too, because in order to take a picture, you actually have to press a button on the top right of the visor. It's not like you can just look at people and go, and take a picture of them.
Blink.
You have to, like, I mean, it's just as awkward or as interfering as Japanese camera phone. And the device itself, what it's showing you is such a small little piece of glass in the upper right corner. It's really not the it's not the altered augmented reality that everyone thinks it is yet. It's really like a first step towards that. But the device, the designer herself told me that, they design these so that people know you're wearing them because it takes a while for society to get used to these new kinds of technologies. So
I think Google more than anybody's aware of the pitfalls of doing this surreptitiously.
Right. Not that people don't give Google credit all the time, but in this case, I really feel like people don't give them a little credit for understanding what it's like to put cameras in, everyone's hands and on everyone's face. Drives me a little nuts.
Google is seeking campaign money. There's always crazy money in election years. Ooh. How much so Romney's got hundreds of millions, Obama's got hundreds of millions. It's going to be $1 billion campaign for both, probably.
It's why the country is so screwed up.
Yeah, $1 billion. And of course, Google wants a little bit of that. So they're touting the net as a prime information source. Forget your television. This is a Google infographic called 4 Screens to Victory. What do they do? Is this for sales? It is. Google.com/elections/ads. Sure, you can have your TV ad, but what about mobile devices?
The other 3 are
tablets
ours.
And personal computers. If you really want to be big this year, if you want to be the next member of Congress, I can't quite read it, but you get the idea. I'm so sick of infographics, but you get the idea.
I am too. It's just something that could be said in a paragraph is now said in an acre.
I saw an infographic this morning. It said something like, if you converted every tweet into pennies, it would reach to the moon and back. It's like, what does that mean? It means nothing. They're not pennies. They're not going to the moon. What does that mean?
And it was a picture of Earth and then the moon and pennies. Nice.
It was so stupid.
And it was a 5 meg JPEG file.
It was huge. If you converted this JPEG to dollar bills.
That was your Seinfeld imitation.
Oh, my God. And it's on my Flipboard, so, of course, it's taking over my phone. 4 screens. Here it is. It's bigger. Access to political information no longer comes from one place or one screen. In just 4 years since the last presidential election, the continued growth of the web and proliferation of smartphone and tablet have radically changed when, where, and how voters access political news and information. Tablet ownership has doubled over the last holiday season. 80% of smartphone owners actively use their device while watching television. It's because television is so crappy. 83.
We need something to distract ourselves.
We're just bored. Oh, yeah. Okay.
People are going to be so bored by your political ads this fall. You should have another place to reach them as well.
Exactly. They're looking at their phone while your ads are going on. 83% of mobile phone. Well, this is interesting. Now, this is a fact, according to the Google. 83% of mobile phone owners are registered voters. 24% of campaign donors rely on mobile election information. Adults spend more media time on mobile than newspapers and magazines combined. I think this is a pretty compelling case. I'm going to buy some ads.
Leo, we want you to run for president.
Oh, no.
I
want you to run for school board.
Yeah. I'm on the board of my kids' high school. There's a fun job.
Well, you should buy ads for re-election at least.
I'm going to run. I got a tool for you, Gina.
Oh, yeah?
I just was thinking about this. But since you already have another tool, right?
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
have
not
a tool
married to
off.
my tool.
I'll paste this into your tool section.
Okay.
And then you can review it. You could do DuckDuckGoog, or you could do this.
Yes. Yes, I saw that.
I think that's a good tool.
Yeah.
You're a tip, though. You're a tip.
Yeah. That's
So I could do that. You do it if you want.
Okay.
We're going to take a break, come back with more. Gina Trapani is here. So fun to have you in the... Would you just go get something handmade and put it on your head?
I know. I should.
Just so we know.
Crazy art
Bring
in
back
here.
something, please, Gina.
Also, Kevin Purdy, CompleteAndroidGuide.com. Are you freelancing for anybody, Kevin? What are you doing these days besides that?
I freelance for Fast Company and IT World and myself.
You see? Yourself. Do you pay yourself?
Well, I write for whoever else.
What are the tax consequences of freelancing for yourself?
It's a weird Ouroboros of...
You're eating your own tail.
Myriad other publications that I don't have time to list.
And you have a show on 5x5, which you very carefully not mentioned, with this person over here whose name is Gina Trapani.
50% of your guests.
50% of my guests have a show on 5x5. It's the same show.
Like that.
What's the name of the show?
It's
called In Beta.
In Beta.
See, we're so in sync that it's like a half-second difference.
Next week on In Beta, they're going to read tweets. It'll be very exciting.
Yes.
I got a really cool email I'm going to read in just a second. Also here, Jeff Jarvis from BuzzMachine.com, the author of Public Parts. Fabulous.
I have only one show, Leo. It's yours.
Aw, that ain't right.
You mentioned Seinfeld. You saw that Seinfeld has a new show, right?
I just put the link up on the rundown.
Comedians in cars getting coffee. Now this is one. If I were our good friend Creighton from Red Dwarf, what's his name? The guy who does the car thing. Robert Llewellyn. If I were Bobby Llewellyn, I'd be pissed. I would sue. I would say, you need to downgrade your show, because this is exactly what he does. He gets people...
Llewellyn, yeah.
Yeah, Bobby Llewellyn does. He drives around in a car. Anyway, here's Seinfeld. Apparently it's a Volkswagen ad. I didn't even know that. But I think
you see the 3 cameras pasted on the windshield.
Yeah. I think VW paid for this. What do you think?
This is a 1952 VW Bug in azure blue.
It's pretty.
Yes.
Look at that.
That's the turn signal.
I know, and they don't have a
cylinder 25 horsepower engine.
Gas meter. They have a reserve tank.
Window because the rear window was made in 2 pieces to save money. And if, like me, you feel that true humility is always in short supply,
look at that.
This is the car for you.
That's hysterical, that turn signal. It just
He's a car collector, and he just got to be able to write it off.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey.
Bingo.
Want to do something? Absolutely. Really? You free? Yeah, I can be free.
See the 3 cameras on the windshield?
Yeah.
Let's get them.
Are they the Go Cams? What are they?
Yeah, Go Cams.
Hi, I'm Jerry Seinfeld, and this is Comedian.
Yeah, exactly how Bobby Llewellyn does it. You know what?
My guest is Larry
It's
David.
different. He has
Larry
coffee
and I have been friends for
involved.
over 30 years.
All right, I'm bored already. This is another show about nothing.
Well,
I've been watching my smartphone the whole time. Is there advertising in this?
Nope.
He doesn't need the money.
Dude.
So why is he doing it?
I don't know. And there's a preview of the next episode there, I think. Too.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais will be in the next one.
Gervais. That should be good. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be hysterical, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
There are funny moments in this one.
Oh, he's a different car in each one. So basically, he's getting to write off each
his entire
collection. So that's a nice twist. Because Bobby's always in his Prius. This time is a Triumph. Oh, don't drive fast in that thing. That's a death trap.
Oh, no, that made it worse. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ. And
there's no seatbelts in this car, by the way. I just want to tell you. Okay, that's funny. All right, little plug for comedians and cars getting coffee. But now the actual ad. Speaking of cars, you probably are not. Maybe you should. Maybe he will do a 2012 Ford Focus Electric. I want to lobby for that, Mr. Seinfeld. Because I'll tell you what, you would have a much smoother ride. You'd actually have safety equipment, which goes a long way towards reassuring your passengers. And you could show off the incredible My Ford mobile app. He really should do this. You can get Seinfeld. You could just snap up one of these at an EV-certified Ford dealer near you. Bring along your BlackBerry, your Android, or your iPhone and install the My Ford mobile app. And you can show people how, like, for instance, if you lose your car, the app says where it is. It'll tell you where charging stations are. This is a really, I think the point of this is really it's a technology demonstration for app developers of why you want to take advantage of Ford's API. It's called AppLink that lets you use the car as a platform. Your car's current location, grocery store. You can also, there's a website, My Ford mobile website, that'll tell you how you're doing in terms of CO2 consumption. With leaderboards, you could be like the #1 CO2 saver in the Northeast. It lets you set go times so you can have the car heat up or cool off before you actually get in the car. You say, every weekday at 8 a.m., I want the car to be 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And you turn that on and off. You can have value charging profiles that say only charge during off-peak hours, save me money. It is the My Ford mobile app, one of the many great features, one of the high-tech features that Ford is bringing to all of its vehicles. Ford.com/technology to find out more. And absolutely, if you get a chance, go to your Ford dealer, your EV-certified Ford dealer, and test drive the 2012 Focus. And bring your smartphone so you can try the My Ford mobile app. So I did a bad thing on a show a few shows ago, and I meant to make it good, and I never did. We were talking about the org charts of Google and Microsoft and Apple, and how the problems Microsoft was having is because they had internecine battles. And I had referred it to a website called Techno Buffalo where I'd seen this, but in fact it is not from Techno Buffalo. It's from bonkersworld.net. Manu Cornet sent me autographed originals of the org chart. Isn't that great? I'm going to frame these. Thank you, Manu.
That's really cool. Manu's a Googler.
Yeah, Manu's a Googler.
Yeah.
You know him.
I do.
Look at this
one.
He
works on Gmail.
The solution to oversleeping. It's an alarm that's free to dismiss, but if you want to snooze, it'll cost you 99 cents.
Oh,
brilliant!
In-app purchase.
In-app purchases. So, Manu, thank you. This is so great. This guy's great. Here's a good one. How tech companies apologize. Google, we screwed up. Sorry, that's Eric Schmidt. Facebook, sorry, but we're still right. That's Mark Zuckerberg. Oracle, say one word, we'll sue your ass off. RIM, mistake, what mistake? We made a mistake. No. Apple, you're holding it wrong. And Microsoft, it just has Ballmer sticking his tongue out. I'm getting these framed. These are going in the office. I should probably send each of you one.
Those are really cute.
Let me do that. Great. I will. Which one do you want, Gina? Oh, there's one more here. This is the one for you, Gina. The life of a software engineer. Clean slates, solid foundations. This time I will build things the right way. Much later, oh my, I've done it again, haven't I?
Oh yeah, that's mine.
That's for Gina. That's for Gina. We'll frame that up and send it out to you. Well, I don't know which one you want, Jeff.
Does he have them up on a dedicated site?
Yeah, it's bonkersworld.net.
Yeah, let's give that plug.
Bonkersworld.net. Manu, I'm so sorry.
I'll take the business model one if you're offering.
You want that one?
The phone, sure. It's
hysterical. This is like a New Yorker cartoon. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so we're going to get those two frames sent to Jeff and Gina. Kevin, if you come on more often, I'll have one for you.
Got it.
I want these for myself.
You can have them all for yourself.
No. I'm going to send those to you. He's got more, though, at Bonkers World. It's really cool. Bonkersworld.net. Here's 5 minutes of TV. Let's see what this one is.
Some people are just too smart.
This guy's a Gmail engineer and a brilliant cartoonist.
Yeah.
I hate that. He does have a Gutenberg one, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me see. Wait a minute.
Geez.
You know what? Manu, if you're watching, let me thank you, Big Ginge, in our chat room. He's sending us the Gutenberg one.
I can't get to it now because you just...
Mr. Gutenberg, I know this is... Here, show it. Mr. Gutenberg, I know this is a breakthrough, but it's launched nearly 2 quarters now, and we haven't made a profit yet. Yeah, I guess it's time to kill it. I think we should... Manu, if you could send me that, I'll get that framed for Jeff. That is awesome.
That is awesome.
That is awesome. Some people are just too talented. I hate that.
Yeah.
Hate that. I barely have one talent. He's got like 8. Probably plays the banjo, too. Isn't that true, Gina, that that there's something about programmers. They're just overachievers, and they're often great musicians and programmers and artists and just all this stuff.
Sure, I'll own that. Why not?
Yeah, why not? The myth of
Gina, do you play a musical instrument?
I don't. I played piano as a kid. But no, I don't have any major epic artistic hobbies. Maybe I should get one.
What could you do?
She'll pick up the banjo and play it like that.
You should build things out of sugar cubes, massive things, and then bring them to Burning Man and burn them.
No, I may have to start knitting after spending some time in this office.
There you go. Knitting.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't you want Gina to make sweaters for us all?
Yes, absolutely. Here you go. The chat room's got it. Ozned says, knit a banjo, then play it.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect. Multi-talented. Vizio has got its pre-order up for the Google TV set-top box. It's cute. This is better than the Q. Look at this. It's called the Vizio CoStar. $100. That's a good price.
Oh.
And it's the new Google TV experience. It's another one of these set-top boxes. You do get a remote, a little bit more complicated than the Apple remote. But the Q
is not a Google TV box, is it?
No, I know. Isn't that the irony?
No, it's not.
$300 and you don't get Google TV.
Yeah.
You get a blue dot that stares at you, though.
Yeah, I know.
A little blue dot that constantly judges you while you watch TV.
Aww. For a penny less than a Benjamin, can you tell it's Engadget writing? It adds the new Google TV experience to your existing setup and brings along its remote with a QWERTY keyboard on the underside. Integrated IR blaster. It's a Marvell ARM processor. Ready for apps like On Live. Oh, that's interesting. So you could game with it as well. Oh, this is very tempting. This competes directly against the Apple TV and the Roku. August 14th, current ship date. But you can order now. I'm going to order one right now.
I was convinced that my TiVo was busted last weekend because I was getting stuttering every 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And I tried everything. I downloaded something from Amazon to check. I checked my cable signal. Everything seemed fine. I was just about to buy a brand new TiVo, and I posted a Google Plus about it. And someone said, do you have a Google TV hooked up to that TiVo?
No.
Because that can cause that problem.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
I unplugged the Google TV, and everything was fine.
Oh, that's depressing.
Well, it was great that, the people in my Google Plus comments saved me a couple $100.
Yeah, no kidding.
Once I reset the Google TV, it was fine.
Oh, okay. So it works now.
It works now. It just was one of those things that I was just, I like having a browser on my TV, but not if it's going to cause problems.
Not if you can't watch Glee.
Right, uninterrupted.
They're going to do a project Butter for Google TV.
Yeah,
they need a project Butter for Google TV.
Smooth out all the kinks.
According to iTuner99 in our chat room, the Sony Google TV second generation will be available at 4 p.m. today. Didn't even know that.
Oh.
So this is cool. The Vizio CoStar. They showed it at Google I/O. I did not get a chance to see it, but it looks pretty cool. You could pre-order Vizio.com/CoStar. And they've got a pre-order button right on there. What did the new Google TV look like, Gina? It's not something we have, right?
The new Sony unit?
Well, just the new UI.
Oh, the new UI?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think that we've gotten it. I don't think the review. You have a review, right?
Yeah.
Logitech? I don't think that we have.
I have a review, yeah, like you. 1080p, full HD, 3D support, Wi-Fi. I like how it looks. Now, here's the new Google TV experience. It looks kind of similar. I have to say, given the choice between how Apple does Netflix and how the Logitech review does it, I far prefer the Logitech review. Apple's got a brain dead interface. They really didn't do a good job. It's a lot of clicks to get around. They got a control. The remote control has a trackpad on the Vizio device. Holy cow!
That's quite a remote control.
That's a little much. And then on the other side, you got a QWERTY keyboard.
Oh, there you go.
So you're guaranteed to push a wrong button no matter where you hold it.
That is not the most spouse-friendly remote I've ever seen.
There's no such thing.
Well, but in particular, a trackpad and a keyboard on a remote is kind of intimidating.
Oh, this is interesting. No, this is the same as the review. It's got HDMI. This is one of the things I don't know if people understand what's unique about a Google TV. It's a pass-through device. So it's an overlay on top of your cable television or your satellite television, which I really like. So you can get a menu bar. Your TV continues playing the show. You can do stuff with the TV in the background.
You do picture-in-picture.
Yeah, much nicer than the Roku, which you either watching the Roku or your cable. It's a separate device. This is kind of an overlay. And so it has the pass-through, dual HDMI pass-through. 802.11n, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and USB ports. Not sure what you could do with that. Well,
Kevin, I now imagine a remote control that has the old ThinkPad nipple on it.
It's only a matter of time.
And nobody uses it, but then 10 people use it, and they always tell you about how great it is.
Yeah, we got one here. It works here. It has to have the nipple. Without the nipple, right there. Look, he's going to pop his head up in a second. Here he is. Did you hear him say it's great? There, right there. Oh, we got two of them. Two hands.
Okay.
Howard Stern, this is a straight line. I'm going to get in trouble for it. I'm going to get in trouble now for this week. But Howard Stern wouldn't go to a Mac because he liked the nipple too much. But of course he did.
Yeah, of course he did. Right. Of course he did. Good news.
I'm sorry I said that, all right? If everybody's offended, I'm sorry.
I apologize. Good news, Gina. Maybe for you. Twitter says we're going to be able to get your old tweets back someday. Right now, there's a limit of how many? 5,000 tweets back?
3,200.
3,200 tweets back.
Mm-hmm.
So a full history download.
This is such a long time in coming.
Dick Costello told the New York Times the company's building a tool that would let Twitter users download their own tweets. He says, well, it's complicated. It's a hard thing to do.
It's kind of, there's a cold storage, hot storage issue there. I mean, they just offload old tweets onto different storage. And in Europe right now, you can send Twitter a letter requesting your archives. And after a certain amount of days, they'll send them to you in a file. So it sounds like this tool is going to let you just do that, just export your tweets. And it's a good step in the right direction. Feature zero.
So it's something they had to do for regulatory reasons.
I'm not sure. I mean, this also, we've had this conversation, like Anil and I were joking that we both celebrate, the yearly holiday when like Twitter says they're going to let you get to your old tweets. So it's kind of like belief when we see it. But the truth is like this is the data liberation problem. It's like, okay, so I click on an export button and I get an XML file or an HTML file and like what, okay, like how useful is that to me? I can feel good about doing that, but you can't search that stuff. You can't say, "Hey, can show me?" Kevin responded to something witty, in 2009. Can I find that? It's just your old stuff out of context of the system, and it's not search enabled. So, I mean, it's the first step to I think what I think. There's a lot of Twitter. It concentrates on being what's in the moment, right? That's always what they've done, and so I don't know if we're ever going to see the ability to be able to search through your archive or search the replies to you on Twitter.com.
It would add so much functionality. I mean, because my old blog habit of putting things on the blog to save it, and delicious, I put things in, it doesn't work. But if I knew it were in Twitter and if I knew I could get to it, I would use it even more.
Yeah. Well, that's a good argument for installing ThinkUp.
Yes, it is.
One of the reasons I did, because you mine all the tweets and all the replies, which is great.
All the replies, all the links, all the favorites, all your friends.
You can't go back in time, but from the moment you're running it, going forward, you're going to have an archive of that, right?
It goes as far back as it can.
So you start with the 3,200, right?
Yeah, 3,200 tweets.
And so when if they do this, Gina, it sounds like it might be fairly trivial to then just add your added archive back into what you get. You may not get the depth that you provide, but you get something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great for us because it means that, hey, you can import your tweets into ThinkUp and, we can maybe do further analytics on it.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah. That would be really nice.
Yeah.
That'd be great for us. I mean, this is huge. I'm excited. I want Twitter to build that functionality in because honestly, the archiving bit and the capture bit of ThinkUp, like that was part of my original motivation, but we're ready to move it to the next level and see what interesting things you can do with your data. So that's what we're working on right now. So it's for me, I'm thrilled that we'll be able to get people's whole archives so we can do more interesting things with the data rather than just get a CSV file out of it.
Right. And I have for a long time also been running a plugin on my blog that just makes a weekly blog post of my tweets of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty primitive, but at least I have it.
To do it. Yeah, that's a fine way to do it. Then you have it in WordPress search or your CMS search.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also, it's fun. And this is something I've had a long time on my blog on this date in past years. So if there's I can go back to my tweets from 2008. And
that's really fun, isn't it?
On this day in 2008, I was having a carnitas super burrito. I had just finished Neil Stephenson's Anthem.
That's a long time.
Get this. I was talking about Twitter on the radio.
And look at that.
Look at that. Very funny. But I think that for me, no one else could care anything about this particular thing, but for me, it's nice to be able to look back in time. There's that. Have you ever done Time Hop? What is it? Abe's Time Hop?
Yeah, it's Time Hop. Timehop.com.
I love that.
Time Hop. Mm-hmm.
You do that too? I thought it was just a solipsistic, narcissistic me.
No, I loved it. It's like, oh yeah, that's when I got married. That's when I went to China. Sometimes it's like that's when I ate a burrito. In fact, most days.
Most days.
Sort of stuff. But still really fun.
Maybe I'll
make
an
option now where you can load your old texts into it. Like it's a manual thing. You have to hook it up through iTunes or whatever.
Right.
But you can load your year ago texts into Time Hop and it'll email them to you every morning. And I haven't done it because I'm afraid that all the anxieties of like trying to find someone at a supermarket will come back to me a year from now.
Right.
Like, where are you? I'm in this aisle. I don't see you. I don't understand. But it does sound pretty cool.
I think that I'm going to find out about that. Let me see. Go to settings. So this could be an early tool, timehop.com. What were you doing 1 year ago today? You hook it up to your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, which is nice if you've been taking pictures there, Foursquare, and then it sends you an email every day with what you were doing on that day. So July 22nd, 2011. These are mostly Foursquare check-ins right now. But this was fun. Like, here's a check-in at this restaurant. I remember we took the team out because we were about to open, and we took everybody out to an Italian restaurant. So it kind of jogs your memory, what you've been doing.
That's right. The brick house is a year old.
Yeah, this is a picture of it all dark. It says lights up in 6 hours. Yeah, so that's kind of fun.
You can remember with pleasure the stress that was and how calm you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm going to remember psychotic fits I used to have.
Yeah, that's the problem is.
Did I say that?
Yeah. 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 I'm nervous about. I don't know what. I don't want to get my sexts from years ago. That would not be good.
Well, speaking of psychosis and Twitter, did you see the story here that there's going to be a study out under Twitter, Leo, the last one in there, that is going to they analyzed 3 million tweets to try to predict, and then they gave psychological tests to the tweeters involved, and they're going to try to predict psychosis.
Do you think if somebody's really crazy that the first thing they're doing is getting on Twitter?
In some
Sometimes
cases.
it seems like that.
Really? There are crazy people on Twitter?
Well, they're on Facebook.
I know there are crazy people on Twitter, but if you're in the throes of psychosis.
Yeah, I know the psychosis is a bit of a joke, but it could, from your tweets, could it predict things about your psychology?
So this is interesting. So they're going to share this information at DEF CON on July 29th, on Sunday. So we'll find out what they found. Should be interesting. Since the beginning of the year, we've been investigating what someone's Twitter activity might reveal about their personality. Oh, so the headline is not exactly what they're up to. Yeah. After tweets from celebrities such as Stephen Fry and Tony Hawk, we had over 3,000 people take part in our study. This is basically what Think Up's doing, though. I mean, they only have 2,927 tweeters, 3 million tweets.
The difference is they gave them psychological tests.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Think Up's not really trying to suss out your psychology, but we're working towards sort of
business
figuring out.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, business opportunity. It is an analysis of your activity, but the purpose is to kind of help you be a better participant on the network and give you hints about what works and what doesn't, and that kind of thing, and about relationships that you have that you may not have known of. I do think that one's tweets do say a lot about that person, though. So I'm interested to hear what they find out.
Great. I thought I was being sneaky and coy. This is Kaggle.com, Florida Atlantic University, and a handful of curious data scientists. Well, we'll find out on Sunday. They're going to be looking at psychopathy, narcissism, and I'd never heard this term in psychology before, Machiavellianism. I don't think that's a scientific term. Huh. All right. Something to look forward to on Sunday. YouTube and Creative Commons in bed with one another. I think this is a great thing. Remix the 4 million Creative Commons licensed videos on YouTube. Is this what you were talking about?
Yeah, just context.
Oh, your bandwidth just went all the way. You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher, and now he's gone. I'm sorry I said that.
No, I'm coming back.
Oh, he's coming back? There he is. Oh, you fixed it.
Well, I don't know. Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
I turned the video off and on.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, Facebook's first earning call. Yay. Has it been 3 months already? We're going to find out. Is it today? The first earnings call for Facebook tomorrow. What to look for? Stock's gone up and down. It hasn't gotten past its original $38 per share. I think we'll be watching ad revenue, right, to see how they're doing there.
Yep.
Some concerned that ad revenue had been bad this year, last year, and perhaps even going farther back, going down every year. And, of course, will Zuck appear? Someone who is not appearing lately, in fact, he did not appear on the recent earnings call for Google, is Larry Page. He has no voice.
Yeah, and after what Steve Jobs went through and all the speculation and all the concern and all the news coverage of it, I'm surprised there hasn't been more about Page.
It's been very quiet, so to speak.
He's been sick since I.O.?
Yeah, before I.O. He lost his voice.
Before I.O.
And they've acknowledged...
Does it have anything to do with the nature of the two illnesses, Jeff, that people thought that Steve's was life-threatening, whereas they just thought that maybe Larry's just having a extended voice thing, but he lives in email land, so it's okay?
Yeah, but I'm forgetting now. Was it Larry or Sergey who's doing the genetic research on hereditary ailments?
I think it's Sergey, isn't it?
Emily. It's Sergey. Okay, I think it is. Yeah, right.
With Parkinson's and all that.
Yeah, that's Sergey. Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's mysterious, and the argument with Jobs was also that there was a need for transparency. So we don't know what it is.
I mean, it could be. I mean, you could be very, very serious. It just depends why he lost his voice.
Yeah.
Or whether he's going to get it back. It's got to be a problem if you can't, being a CEO, if you cannot speak.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ADA does not apply to the stock market.
Yeah, and I just think that after the Jobs thing, that people are very stock. Look, it's a public company. It's absolutely germane to the value of the company and whether you might want to invest in it if the CEO is ill or not.
Well, of course, Dr. Mom says in the chat room that she's very concerned about this prolonged absence. There are no causes of laryngitis that take this long to recover from.
Right. It sounds like something much more serious than laryngitis.
Yeah.
And maybe
I'm concerned too. It's not just about the greed of the stock. It's concern. I have a lot of respect for him, and
I know bad timing. I mean, he really was on a roll. Things were really going. And now, according to was it Nikesh or Aurora, he's still running the company. Larry Page is still running the company.
Yeah.
So it is true in this email era. You don't have to speak.
We'll soon see Google Plus as a management tool.
Senior Vice President, Chief Business Officer at Google, Nikesh Arora, said during the analyst call, Larry has lost his voice but continues to run the company. You know what? If the Steve Jobs thing hadn't happened, it probably would not be a story. But because of that, I think that's a little odd. Facebook's Zuckerberg wins privacy patent. In great irony.
Everyone has to chuckle about that.
It's a patent application from 2006 governing privacy settings. Patent number 8,225,376. A system and method for dynamically creating a privacy summary.
Yeah. Patents are not a measure of quality.
No. And I've been told time and time again, you can't read the abstract and have any idea what the patent's really for, so I won't read any more. EU antitrust case. Google wants to settle it. Google bought Sparrow. I'm pissed off. Does anybody use a Mac? Anybody use Sparrow?
I never used Sparrow.
Love Sparrow.
I'm so addicted to Priority Inbox. Do you use Priority Inbox on Sparrow?
Well, what's nice about Sparrow, it's kind of a Gmail, but it's a desktop and iPhone interface to Gmail. It's better than Gmail, which is why Google bought it.
Right.
Because they want to, I'm sure, incorporate those features into Gmail. All right, let's see. I think we can take a break.
One more interesting one, if I may.
Go ahead.
Gordon Krovitz at the Wall Street Journal in his last column, and Gordon's a very nice guy, by the way, I know him, wrote a column that should have gotten some editing, man, arguing that the government had nothing to do with the creation of the Internet. And there are 3 or 4 great corrections out right now, one in the LA Times and some others, and then Vince Cerf moments ago was interviewed at CNET and came out and said this is a bunch of hooey. Guess what? He should know.
He was there.
He said, quote, Finthorpe said, I would happily fertilize my tomatoes with Krovitz's assertion. Krovitz, among other things, basically said that the invention of Ethernet was the invention of the Internet.
Yeah, well, that's completely wrong. Bob Metcalf.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so all you got to do if you want to debunk this is read Katie Hafner's incredible book, Where Wizards Stay Up Late, that talks about DARPA and James Licklider, who was a federal government employee who said, we want these two computers to talk together, went to BBN, which was a private business, and said, figure this out. But it was funded by the government. It was primarily used by the government and the NSF. And anybody who's less than 12 years old may remember when the NSF finally said, and I think it was 94, that you could have commercial traffic on the Internet, and everything changed. It's crazy to say that it wasn't. I don't know where this that's talked about revisionist history. You can revise history, but not something that happened in our lifetime.
It's arguing against big government. I think big government is not, and not Obama.
Yeah. It's like the guy who's doing the ads for Mitt Romney, the self-made guy who they just really recently realized that he, in fact, took $1 million in government loans to self-made businessman. Yeah.
Joe the Plumber moments.
Yeah. Twitter, I got one more Twitter. Twitter's, because the Olympics.
This is cool.
We're excited. We're going to watch the opening ceremonies on Friday, right? I'll be watching nonstop TV with my cell phone and my Nexus 7 in hand in case I get bored.
Glee with sweat.
Glee with sweat.
Yeah.
They're going to light up the London Eye. And Twitter, this video is no longer available because the YouTube account has been terminated due to multiple third-party notifications of copyright infringement.
Oh, well.
Never mind.
It seems to be having a lot lately.
Jeez.
Okay.
So the sentiment, as in, it's just going to be a different color?
It's going to be a giant mood ring.
Of Twitter.
Oh, neat.
So Kara Swisher tweeted that during the week, and she said, what other monuments could you imagine for this? And so I imagine waking up every day to see the Empire State Building and saying, uh-oh, New York's in a bad mood today. Better stay in.
So we should explain that the London Eye is a giant Ferris wheel that dominates the skyline of London.
What I really like to see is Big Ben tweet, have the LED
dong, dong,
of the
dong, dong.
bong bongs. Big Ben.
So I don't know exactly. I mean, what is the mood going to be? Angry?
I don't know. Well, but Twitter does have moods. I mean, that's I've talked about the story on the show before, where the University of Indiana scientists who found that they could predict the daily ups and downs of the Dow Jones with more than 90% accuracy through 6 moods and their opposites on Twitter. And Jonathan Harris, magnificent artist and programmer and developer, did something called We Feel Fine, which was with blog mentions before Twitter was there, and he tracked moods on blogs and statements. I feel good, I feel bad. Through times of the year, times of day, age, geography, all kinds of things. So, yeah, there actually is kind of an aggregate mood that moves on Twitter, which is pretty darn cool. I joked, too, that you could probably do it to the Golden State Bridge in San Francisco, but, of course, that would always be happy.
Actually, I talked to somebody who's a local person who's doing a 20,000 LED light show on the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. It's going to be a 6-month temporary installation. I don't know if it'll be tied to Twitter, but it's going to be doing stuff. So that's kind of... We Feel Fine. Wasn't that the one that...
Yes, We Feel Fine.
John
Harris, who's a brilliant guy.
And by the way, Big Ben does have a Twitter feed. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Bong, 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 bong.
It bongs.
Bong, 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 bong.
It's hilarious.
Bong, 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 bong.
So the London Eye sentiment thing is UK-based tweets. So every time England loses, we can watch it, turn purple for sad.
Oh, well, what did it here? So here's the deal. Every night there's a 30-minute light show. Just so you know, here's the code. The eye will glow yellow if England is in a good mood, purple if it's in a bad mood, and green if it couldn't care less.
Huh.
Those are not very intuitive colors, but okay.
No. Okay. Maybe it was really cheap LEDs. You can only do a few colors.
Yellow for happy.
Is sad.
All right. Bong, 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 bong. We'll be back with our tool, our tip, and our number of the week. Kevin Purdy from CompleteAndroidGuide.com. Jeff Jarvis from BuzzMachine.com and SmarterWare.org's Gina Trapani are here. But first, a word from Carbonite, the best way to back up. If you had to design a backup strategy, you would be looking for something that was automatic, so you didn't have to remember it. It would be continuous. So anytime you make a change, it'd be backed up. You wouldn't have to think about it. And here's the cool part. It would be online, off-site. So if the worst happened and everything fell apart, you'd always have a copy in the cloud. A secure copy, by the way. You could, in fact, use strong encryption on it, and only you have the key. Uses SSL. This is Carbonite. Carbonite is automatic, continuous, online backup for $59 a year per computer. That's less than $5 a month for everything on your computer. You got more than one computer, got external drives, they got plans for that. Small businesses, they have a plan for that. You've got to visit Carbonite.com. This is the way to back up. Once you put it on your machine, you just forget it. Mac or PC, you just forget it. It's backing up, and you always can get your data. In fact, you can check your data, and this is something I actually add as an additional criterion. I don't trust a backup where I can't see what was backed up. You can log on to your Carbonite account anytime on any computer, even on their free smartphone and tablet apps, and there's your stuff. And you can open it and download it just like it's cloud storage. So I love that. Carbonite.com. Steve Gibson said it does conform to his trust no one criteria for security, for safety. I just think it's fantastic. You don't need a credit card for the free trial. You just need our offer code, TWIG. Go to Carbonite.com. Use a promo code TWIG. And if you decide to buy 14 months for the price of 12, you get 2 extra months for $59, 14 total months. It's just a great deal and a great peace of mind thing, especially for a laptop, especially for a kid going off to college. Boy, when Abby went to college 2 years ago, first thing I did, I got her the laptop, and then I put Carbonite on it. Carbonite.com. Use our offer code, would you? TWIG. Oh, somebody gave me the London Eye video.
Yeah,
all right.
just going to tell you that.
Yeah, let me just let's just see what this looks like. The London Eye.
Thank you, London Bob, for that.
London Bob. This account has not yet been shut down. Although our show probably will. So that's the light show it does every night. And if it's yellow, then London is happy. I'm amazed that they allowed that in London, to be honest. Doesn't it seem kind of cheesy?
When you're there, no, it's kind of
it's okay.
Yeah.
They got one in Paris too in the
I've ridden the Eye, and it's a really neat ride. It does seem disproportionately large.
It's huge.
From the ground, but it's a really cool thing to ride. Weren't they talking about one in New York, Jeff?
Say again?
Yeah, well, the one in New York was going to be at this White Elephant Mall we have in New Jersey called Xanadu.
Good.
I was one of the bidders to take over and change that whole mall, but we lost for political reasons. But yes, there was a spot outside for a gigantic thing like that.
You were trying to buy a mall?
I was involved in the team that was trying to get the mall to change the entire concept of retail.
You're just such a mover and shaker.
It's what would Google do? Somebody came to me and said, "This is exactly compatible with my idea of how to revolutionize retail and turn it into something entirely different." And I love disruption, so I got involved. So we'll probably do it somewhere else. I'll tell you about it when that day comes. The what do you call it? Gondola over the Thames broke. And that just makes my palms sweat. I just hate heights. I hate things like that.
What do you mean broke? Did people tumble into the water?
They were stuck up there.
Stuck's not so bad.
Send my heart medication up.
Gina Trapani, let's start with you. Your tool, and you have many. I'm sorry, I do the tools. You do the tips. Your tip of the week.
Tip of the week is duckduckgoog.com.
Wait a minute. DuckDuckGoog?
Kevin's happy because Kevin loves DuckDuckGo. So we've talked about DuckDuckGo here on the site, right? It's kind of an alternative search engine. It's kind of a nerdy search engine. It's got this this bang syntax, and by bang I mean exclamation point. So if you go to DuckDuckGo and you search, say, exclamation point IMDb and put in a search term, it'll automatically redirect your search directly to IMDb, and that works for dictionaries and Wikipedia and Flickr and Lifehacker, and their user submitted shortcuts. DuckDuckGoog mashes up the two, so you can bang search through DuckDuckGoog, and if you don't bang search, then it just shows you regular Google search results.
So, is this from DuckDuckGo? DuckDuckGo?
So DuckDuckGoog is basically an interface that mixes. It either goes to Google search results or DuckDuckGo results, depending on how you search.
Whether
so
you bang it.
You get all the cool search shortcuts, the bang shortcuts of DDG or DuckDuckGo, but also the regular Google search results, depending on how you search.
But is it the same company, or is it just some guy who wrote an interface? I think it's just some guy, huh?
I think it's just some guy.
I think.
Yeah.
And there's a link on the front page to add it to your browser.
Tell your browser. Oh.
Yeah, so if you've sort of taught yourself those bang searches, which I have because I've been using DuckDuckGo pretty religiously, it's nice because you can bang search anything, but then also just get Google search results. It's a little nerdy, but
so bang the duck slowly.
Bang the duck.
I think you're in trouble.
We might have a show title. Searches Google and bangs DuckDuckGo.
Bang the duck slowly. Kevin, I could give you a chance if you have a tip you'd like to share, maybe an Android tip? Or?
I do. Leo, do you have a Galaxy Nexus or your Nexus 7 handy?
I do.
All right. So normally you would turn it off by holding down the power button.
Yes, that's what I do.
Unlock it.
Yes.
And then you'll see the options to turn off.
Yeah. Oh, if you keep holding it down, you get additional options, right? Wait a minute.
Well, yeah. So
let's do that again. So you're saying if I hold it, now I can airplane mode or silent mode. You mean that?
Right. But instead of tapping power off, hold down on power off.
Okay. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting this special menu, right?
No. Okay. Yeah. If you hold down on power off, you hold your finger down on.
I'm
power
still
off.
holding it.
Like tap and hold.
No, I mean
like
the screen, not the.
This. Okay. Oh, reboot to safe mode.
Yep. So safe mode in Android 4.1, so all 12 of us can use this. So if you can reboot into safe mode, and that is, I'm almost ashamed to say, it's kind of like Windows safe mode.
Is
all
it simple?
Mac Windows / Android iOS comparisons aside, safe mode literally just reboots your phone with only the core services running. So so if you think something's slowing down your phone, or you want to kind of get rid of the app you feel is taking over your Android, which hopefully should happen less with the newer versions. But anyways, you can reboot your phone in safe mode, and it literally just, calling, texting, and the core Google services. And it's a really great way to just see what your phone could run like without any third-party apps going. So, a little bit of self-schadenfreude, but also, troubleshoot stuff that you think is going wrong.
Well, it'd be a good thing to see how your battery life is. Run it a day without anything installed on it or whatever,
Or as you run short battery, I would think it'd be a good way to conserve.
Or, maybe conserve, yeah. So I just did that. Now I'm in safe mode. It says safe mode in the lower left of the screen, so I know. And the Evernote widget is stopped. That's right, because but now the apps aren't gone. I could still run third-party apps, but the widgets are gone.
Right. Well, and in the background, there's nothing running that isn't
running.
a core phone, in your case, tablet phone.
Got it.
So, and the next time you reboot, it goes back to normal. But
cool. That's very handy.
Yeah.
So press and hold the on-off button, press and hold power off, and you'll get the option for the safe mode. Reboot to safe mode.
Cool.
And that's Nexus only.
It's 4.1 only.
4.1 only.
So
okay.
Whenever phones get 4.1, they'll get that option.
Okay. So I'm going to shut down and turn it back on. Jeff Jarvis, your number of the week.
Well, I could do the fact that Zynga's stock is down to $3, but that would end the show on a pressing note.
Wow.
So instead, I'll say that Facebook now has 50 million users in India alone, up from 8 million in 2010.
But there's a billion people in India, right? There's a ton.
But it's getting there fast. The interesting thing to me is that the vast majority of them come on through mobile. And so the international usage is really going to push Facebook to get its mobile act together.
Very interesting. My tip is my tool is something I saw on Lifehacker this week, and Jeff, you tried it and you weren't able to get it to work.
It works.
It's working now. It's called Friday, and I think there's a lot of stuff that's kind of we're going to see that is kind of Google Now-ish. So I don't have Google Now on this phone because I don't have Jelly Bean on there. Google Now kind of collects a bunch of cards from a variety of different sources and makes a single page with some interesting information on your search page. This is called Friday by Dextra. It's called Forget to Remember. And what you do is you hook it up to everything, like your email, your Facebook, your Twitter, and all that stuff. And it gets information and creates these pages of all the stuff that you've done. So now here's the deal. I can now search it. Now, I've only just started using it. But if I could say, oh, I remember I had a call a couple of days ago with this person or that person, I could search through the Friday database that has been created and find. I can also post little notes in here. And you see it's kind of Foursquare-ish. I have different activities, maybe more Gowalla-ish, TV watching, music listening, reading. I have a great idea. I could post that. That will become part of the database. I can continue to share that. Twitter, Facebook, and Foursquare. I think this is kind of an interesting idea. It would be a lot more useful if it was integrated into the phone as opposed to a separate standalone app, but it does run apparently all the time. I can even warp back in time. We were talking about time hop to a previous date that I have been using this. And since it's gone through my database of tweets and so forth, I might be able to go pretty far back. No results found. I guess not. So, it's going to get more useful as you use it. And Kevin Purdy was saying, oh, this is typical of a whole category of apps where a guy developer writes the app to collect the data and says, don't worry, we'll figure out what to do with the data afterwards. I just like the idea that I can go back and search that. And that's the idea.
And if it makes you uncomfortable at all, I think it's one of the best. Their policy privacy statement is very, very good. And also, Leo, if you click on the little three dots in the app, you'll see one option there to just wipe user. They make it incredibly easy.
That's right.
To just say, never mind.
You can also do some filtration, so I can say what shows here. You got everything, and I can see what filters I've got. I think they've done a very interesting job. Friday, a personal assistant, they say, that learns all about you and can tell you anything you need to remember. I think we're getting very close to the idea of... And it was Gordon Bell, I think, with his, what do you call it, his memo box, where he had a camera around his neck all the time. He was just recording everything he did. And that data, and it's what you said, Kevin, well, just collect it, because you'll find a use for it later. It's the same idea in some ways as Gina's app, So it says, Journal, Answers, Analytics, Self-Discovery, Friday for Android only for... right now. Very interesting app. Certainly worth taking a look at.
So why is it called Friday? Because it's Forget to Remember.
No, Friday. Remember, it's your man Friday. It's your girl Friday. It's your assistant in a box.
Oh, I see.
Get it.
Now
I see. They have other apps, too, that they do. There's one called Trails. I guess remembers what trail you've been on. All right, we're out of time, but I thank you all for joining us. Kevin Purdy is the author of the Complete Android Guide at CompleteAndroidGuide.com.
That's correct. And working on the 4.1 update. And if you buy even the version right now, then you'll get the update for 99 cents when it arrives.
You do appear, I'm sure, on All About Android on a fairly regular basis. We have him on Twig once in a while. And, of course, he does a weekly show with Gina Trapani called In Beta on the 5x5 Network. Oh, this is good.
Thank you.
This is good. I like this. Is a nice. Buy the book, and then you can have the whole dang thing forever and ever and ever. Jeff Jarvis teaches journalism to some very lucky people at the City University of New York. He's also the author of Public Parts, and he owns a mall in New Jersey.
If only I did. I would have my Ferris wheel. I'd be afraid to go on.
It's a very Tony Soprano thing to do. Hey, come to the pork store and we'll talk.
You don't know what's buried under that mall.
That's right.
If you're not careful.
I got a 18,000 square foot parking lot that needs some repaving, if you know what I mean. You can find Jeff at buzzmachine.com. Gina Trapani is currently at Etsy, but she'll be back in San Diego at some point. And you can find her blog at smarterwear.org.
Thanks for being so patient with my technical difficulties today.
I can't hear a word she's saying.
She said thank you for being patient with her technical difficulties, which, of course, only just became exacerbated at that moment.
All of a sudden, technical difficulties. So there you go. No, of course,
Jeff.
Gina, we would do anything to have you on the show.
Aww.
Anything. Thank you all for being here. We do this show 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That would be 2000 UTC on TWiT.tv every Wednesday. But if you miss a show, don't worry. We make on-demand versions available for download of audio and video. TWiT.tv/twig or wherever fine podcasts are aggregated. Subscribe, and you'll never miss another episode. And I encourage you to do that. Thanks for being here. Coming up, triangulation. Our guest, Limor Fried's going to talk about Adafruit. Making, hacking, should be fun. Limor Fried, next on the TWiT Network. See you next week on TWiG.